Hey there YouTube, WhiskeyCactus here welcoming you back to our His Chuunibyou Can't Be Cured Let's Play. This is episode number 6, and last time Yui punched Kagura in the face and it was great. We are gonna load up that file. And I believe we went ahead and walked Yui home at the end of last episode, and that's where we are at. So let's pick it up from there. See what interesting things may happen on this walk home. Later that day, I decided to walk Yui home as thanks for standing up for me earlier. Only now do I realize that I've never actually walked home with Yui before, even though we've been friends for quite some time now. Guess I just never pegged her as the type of girl who would enjoy walking home with somebody, unlike the other girls in our team. She's always been quite different in a way. At least that's what I think. And until now, she still never fails to surprise me. No kidding, she surprised the shit out of me. Hey, Yui. Up until this point, our walk has been rather silent, marked only by the occasional sigh. Yui turns to me when I call her name, half bored, half curious look on her face.
Yeah? What's up?
You punched a guy out. Want to talk about that? I feel my throat tightening slightly. I don't know why, but I don't feel wholly comfortable about saying thank you right now. Yui looking at me suspiciously doesn't help either. Just what? I just wanted to say thank you. From the expression on her face, I think I can safely say that she wasn't expecting me to say that.
Thanks for what?
For punching that guy out.
I didn't do anything for ya.
That's not how I remember it. I look at her incredulously. Yes, you did. You defended me from Kagura. Don't you think that's worth my thanks?
Oh, that?
Yui rolls her eyes, waving one hand toward my direction dismissively.
No, I don't think it's worth it. I only did what I had to, you know? Anyone would have done it, Jun.
But anyone didn't just do it, Yui. You did it. I look at her matter-of-factly, as she just stares at me as though weighing my words. I can tell she still doesn't believe what I'm saying. Frankly, I don't know what's so hard to believe about that. Is it really that impossible for me to say thank you to her for sticking up for me in front of a bully? That's why. Thank you.
I still don't deserve that thanks.
Okay.
People who bully people who think they are lower than them are scums.
Scums.
I don't deserve thanks for standing up to them. They're the ones who deserve to be stood up too.
Did her voice, like, get deeper? Or am I just imagining things? Seems slightly different. The look of indignation on her face gives me the impression that she's saying what she really thinks right now. I would hope so. It's a little bit scary seeing her like this, but at the same time it's impressive coming from someone her size. Who'd have thought that a girl who's probably more than a foot shorter than Kagura could possibly stand up to him in front of so many people? Certainly not me, as I didn't expect what happened at all. Music changed, you know what that means. It's time to get serious. Still, I give her a pleasant smile, trying to hide just how impressed I am by her courage. Thank you, Yui. I mean it. She stares at me long and hard, as if sizing up my sincerity. All of a sudden, she pushes me, making me stumble a little bit on the sidewalk, at which she immediately comes to my help.
A little weak there, aren't you, Mizushima?
Oh shit, she's gonna kick my ass now. Ah!
Sorry for that. I didn't expect you had such
She makes a face before continuing.
bad balancing. Maybe you need to practice more on your footwork.
There we go. That's her voice. What the fuck? That was weird. Was it a different person voicing her? My footwork. She pouts a little bit as she nods.
Yeah, like I said, it's a case of
Bad balancing?
that's all.
Oh, bad balancing. Is that going to be a metaphor for our game design later? Oh shit. Is this game really that deep? I don't know. I look at her incredulously for the second time this day. Seriously, this girl. I think even someone with the best balancing in the whole world wouldn't be able to balance well when someone pushes them off the sidewalk. Yui starts whistling, putting her hands in her pockets. Gotcha, didn't I? Still whistling, she looks down on the concrete ground with forced curiosity on her face, as if she just suddenly found the cracks interesting. I let out a half-groan, half-chuckle at her childlike behavior. See? Can't answer when you know your own strength's a cause, can you? This time, Yui looks back at me with a smirk on her small face.
Ha, I already know I'm strong, but you should know that you're weak.
Oh fuck, shots fired. Hey, I'm not weak, you're just, too strong.
I'm too strong for you, Mizushima? Why, aren't you ashamed yet?
Fuck off, it's 2018. You can be as strong as you want, and I can be as weak as I want, and we can just live our best lives, Yui. I'm sensing a lot of judgment right now. She grins evilly as she looks at me up and down, emphasizing on the fact that I'm at least a whole head taller than her. Geez, even I don't know why you're so strong. Without missing a beat, Yui coolly answers my question.
Well, try taking on 5 little bear cubs and let's see if you don't get strong enough.
5 bear cubs? I look at her curiously, but she's already skipping forward, seemingly in a good mood all of a sudden. Still can't help but be curious about what she just said, but Yui doesn't seem interested in telling me more. Does she have, like, 5 brothers or something? I hope she actually has bear cubs. That would be amazing. So I just sigh and jog a little bit to catch up to her. In a few minutes, the bus finally arrives, and Yui gets on, waving me goodbye.
See ya, weak Mizushima.
Oh, you're on, bitch. We're scrapping. We're scrapping tomorrow after school. See you too. She laughs, throwing her head back as the bus starts moving. Shaking my head, I turn on my heels and start on my relatively short walk back home. Alright then. It's another day in the club room for us, which means it's another day of progress updates. Everybody gives their individual reports. What they did for the week, what they've accomplished, what they still need to do. Getting prepped for the real world, man. All these fucking stand-up meetings. Is this our scrum meeting? Fuck off, man. Just listen quietly, giving comments only when needed or appreciated. Finally, it's Yui's turn to speak. We're getting so much Yui now. I think we've affected the game officially at this point. Only now do I realize that I haven't really heard her say much throughout the whole update session, which is strange considering Yui's personality. She's always been the first one to ask questions and butt heads with the others, never the type to keep her real thoughts hidden from the world. But this time, she's been awfully quiet, almost as if she's trying to get us not to notice her. I turn my gaze to her, patiently waiting for her to start speaking. Surprisingly, she just looks back at me, and then to each of our teammates.
Do know how you guys will react to this, but sorry, can't show y'all anything today.
Well, that's disappointing, Yui. What the fuck? What were you doing last night? For a few moments, not one of us says a word. Then all of us suddenly do at the same time, in a torrent of curious questions and worried queries. What did you say? How can that be?
But the music.
Nothing at all? Yui sighs calmly, but the vein popping in her forehead only makes her look as though she's having a hard time keeping herself restrained.
Don't have anything, I told ya!
Sumiki stares at her in shock, her mouth shaped in a perfect O. Even Sumiki's look of surprise is perfect. Sheesh. What a perfectionist. Do you hear yourself? How is that even possible? Again, Yui sighs. But this time, it's clear to me that she's only doing it as her way to keep herself calm. She seems to be getting agitated by the second, and with the way she's almost facing the door, I'm sure I can bet $100 that there's nothing she wants right now than to leave the clubroom. However, she doesn't leave, and instead turns to answer Sumiki's questions.
I'll tell you how it's possible. Didn't get to finish a single thing, that's what.
Perfect non-answer. Contrary to the desired reaction, though, Yui's answer only serves to make Sumiki burn even hotter. Her eyes, emerald as they are now rivaling in the light spitting from a coal fire. I'm sorry, in what universe are those emerald eyes? Those are blue. Those are fucking blue as fuck. These are the bluest fucking eyes I've ever seen. Emeralds are not blue, guys. Zelda Ocarina of Time taught me that.
And pray tell, how come you didn't finish a single thing? We were all given deadlines, Yui Kitamura. Deadlines.
Yui seems unperturbed by the fierce display of emotion, though, much to Sumiki's further irritation. She shrugs simply as she turns away from Sumiki.
No, wasn't able to meet them, obviously.
Obviously. The writer in the group gasps, and Ai approaches her and stares at her worriedly.
Someone deal with her before I lose my patience.
With an angry glare, she storms off to the corner of the room while Ai quickly follows her, seemingly murmuring words to calm her down. Takahito and I immediately sweep in, jumping in front of Yui, whose irritation is now plainly on her face. Seriously, man, you know better than to rile Sumiki up like that. Her temper's usually better, but if you keep doing that... He glances at me, and I nod in understanding. I've seen Sumiki get angry countless times, and it was never a pretty sight. I especially don't want to see her get of all places. Taka's right. You don't want to get Sumiki mad. Yui glares at both of us angrily.
Well, she shouldn't talk to me like that either. Think I'm the only one in the wrong here?
To my surprise, Takahito suddenly narrows his eyes at the smallest girl on the team. No, but you are in the wrong, so you've got no right to act that way towards Sumiki, or us for that matter. I don't know what you were acting all haughty in front of her, either. I don't know why you were acting all haughty in front of her. Take 3, guys. I don't know why you were acting all haughty in front of her when, if you ask me, she does have the right to question you about your lack of progress, Yui. Yui's eyes shoot daggers at Takahito, even scarier than Sumiki's. They look so menacing that it seems like they can suddenly spew fire at any given moment.
It's not like I wanted it, Kay. What, you think I just lazed around while you guys worked hard here?
Her angry crest... Jesus Christ! I was doing so well, and now I'm just falling apart. Alright. Her angry question is marked by a pronounced silence as all of us stare at her blankly. Maybe not blankly, as Sumiki's pointed look suggests otherwise. Yui scoffs.
Unbelievable! What, even you, Taka? You think I only lazed around?
Takahito keeps his lips pressed together, but I can see that he's having a hard time giving Yui a hard time. To be honest, I've never actually seen these two fight before. In the whole group, Yui seems to be closest to Taka, and Taka to Yui. Taka usually lets Yui do whatever she wants, while Yui usually supports Taka in whatever unique hobby he takes up. But now, as I see them figuratively butting heads with one another, I can see why fighting isn't good for them at all.
Disgusting!
Without another word, she pushes past Takahito, running out of the clubroom door. The moment she leaves, Taka lets out a frustrated sigh. Ugh, why is that guy so hard? Someday, I will learn to read. Someday. You would think that choosing to do YouTube, and especially visual novels and stuff, I would be able to just cold read like this. Nope. Ugh, why is that girl so hard to deal with? Sumiki looks at him in a comforting manner.
You know her, Takahito. She feels like she can take on the world by herself. Perhaps this time it was too much for her to handle.
Her explanation seems only to add fuel to the angry fire burning within our programmer. Why doesn't she admit it?
Admitting it is not something she can do, no? If she cannot handle something by herself, I'm sure she would rather not let anyone know.
Sumiki clicks her tongue in disapproval.
Yui Kitamura, that stubborn pride of hers is certainly not one of her best traits.
I just stay silent, not willing to pitch any more assumptions. I already feel bad enough for Yui. Discussing her problem with the rest of the group will probably only make me feel worse. While Takahito and Sumiki are still busy talking, I decide to sneak out and follow Yui to wherever she went. Well, look at us, taking sides. Luckily, it appears that she didn't go very far. In fact, I can still see her sitting in the hallway, just a few meters away from the clubroom. She's wiping at her own face, which seems a little bit wet with what looks like suspiciously like tears. Yui, crying? Seriously, June, you're delusional. I approach her quietly, hoping not to surprise her or anything. After standing by her feet for a few seconds without being noticed by her, finally decide to speak. Hey. Slowly, she raises her head to look up at me. A look of shock crosses her face for a split second before she looks down again and starts rubbing her face again. When she looks back up at me, I see her usual expression pasted on her face.
What are you doing?
Watching you cry. Just wanted to see if you're okay. Her eyes flash angrily at me, but I can see them soften a bit. I suddenly get a funny idea that Yui can control her own eyes and make them look angry even though she's not, but I quickly shoo the idea away.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm fine, so you can go away now.
Fuck that. Ignoring her snappy remark, I smile at her. That's good then. I'd be really worried if you weren't okay. She just scowls at me in response, her bad mood obviously still present.
Whatever.
So, mind telling me what's wrong?
Mind your own business, that's what.
Yo, we're besties right now, Yui. Come on. She turns away from me again, going back to her sulking. I sigh. Taka's right. She can get pretty hard to deal with. Oh, fuck. We have to make a choice. Alright, let's see. We're gonna save, obviously, because that's what you do. Alright. I kind of want to prod, because I feel like that's the right answer, because I want to know. And if she gets mad, then we'll go back. But no, June, you won't give up. You can't give up. Treading more carefully this time, I decide to get all professional with her. What if this is my business? Yui glances at me briefly, a curious look in her eyes.
What?
I speak slowly, enunciating every word. You're my musician, aren't you? If something's wrong with the musician, then surely the game wouldn't have any music. As the leader of this project, I'm thinking that would be a problem indeed. My problem. So as you can see, whatever's wrong with you is definitely my business. Yui glares up at me, once again with that look that suggests that she's sizing me up. She's gonna punch me in the face if I'm not careful.
You've got a point.
Oh, look at us.
But there's nothing wrong with me. Ain't your problem now, is it?
She sulks again, this time staying completely unresponsive no matter how much I prod her. With a heavy sigh, and knowing that I won't be able to change Yui's mind, at least for now, I start heading back to the clubroom. Okay, well, let's save that here. And let's load from here and see what happens if we go the letter B route. Hope she doesn't think I'm giving up on her, but I think it's best if I leave her alone for now. Start walking back to the clubroom, but I just can't help but worry about Yui. Then again, I can't leave her like that. Glancing at her again as she sits glumly on the floor, I try to think of something. Finally, an idea comes to mind. Hey, Yui. She grunts, barely glancing up at me. Grinning hopefully to myself, I crouch down next to her, looking at her eye to eye. This time, she takes notice, inching slightly away from me with a half-awkward, half-disgusted expression on her face.
What the heck's gotten into you?
You know I've got powers, don't you? Oh, fuck me.
Powers?
Oh, this is gonna be fun. She peers hard into my face, then nods her head, to my surprise.
Yeah, those powers you keep telling us about.
Right. You don't doubt them, do you? Yui looks at me blankly. Beneath her expressionless look, however, I see something else. Something akin to mirth. For a split second, I worry that she's just gonna laugh in my face. However, she just shakes her head solemnly.
I guess not.
I smile at her, quite thankfully. Great. 'Cause I'm here to do some magic.
Magic?
Yui's eyebrow immediately raises upward.
You're gonna do magic?
You damn right. My magic is never giving up, Yui. Yeah, I can do anything I wish. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's obvious from the way she's looking at me with twinkling eyes that while she doesn't seem to fully believe what I'm saying, she's interested to see what will come out of it. Aren't we all? Watch closely, okay? Yui peers in closely, looking as though she's here to judge a contest and not witness a display of magic. Ugh. Before she can come up with any guesses,
of what my magic trick will be, I immediately pull something from behind her ear.
Oh, lame sauce, but just lame enough to be good. And this is obviously the correct choice to make, was doing this path. ... Her mouth falls open as she stares at the tiny red origami rose held between my thumb and forefinger. Fucking June with the plays! Yo, man! Okay.
How did you...
That's smooth AF right there. That's how you make a fucking lame-ass magic trick smooth as shit. It's magic, I tell you. Don't ruin it, June. Don't fucking ruin it.
That's no magic. That's what you call the sleight of a hand. It's a magic trick, not magic itself.
Okay, muggle.
She explains to me rather impatiently, but I can tell from the way her eyes are shining that she was delighted by the trick. I just grin at her, wagging one finger in front of her face. Still, that proves I can use my powers. She smiles at me evilly, crossing her arms in front of her chest. Yo, get you a girl who makes an evil laugh like that, seriously.
Ha! How does that prove anything? You used an old trick that any old magician could have done.
Bullshit.
I grin at her back. That's not the point. Admit it, you were amused. A smirking smile appears on Yui's face as she regards me coolly with her piercing eyes.
Well, I don't want to lie. That was pretty cool.
She thinks we were pretty cool. Move over, Takahito. I'm stealing your girl.
Thanks for cheering me up a tiny bit, June.
You are so very welcome, Yui.
I smile and nod. I hope that got you in a good mood then. Anyway, I have to go back to the club room now. Yui's cheerful smile falters a bit. But don't worry, you don't have to come back now if you don't want to. I understand. She suddenly blushed a deep red, the first I've seen on her for a very long time now, I think.
Thank you. To you and your magic.
Guys, I think we got this. I think we fucking got this.
I smile as I turn on my heels and go back to the club room. My powers did work. After all, my wish wasn't to conjure magic. My wish was to be able to cheer up Yui. And it seems like I managed to do just that.
Oh, we are smooth AF. We are smooth AF. Alright, we're definitely overrating that. Because that was the correct answer. Alright.
My teammates are all looking at me with serious but expectant expressions on their faces. Sumiki with the most serious one of them all. Well, I shrug, walking silently toward my desk. I never told them that I'd talked to Yui in order to be able to give them an explanation, so I don't think they can demand one from me right now. But from the looks of it, it seems like that's exactly what they want from me. June, you went to talk to Yui. Yeah, I did. I answer her matter-of-factly, trying to make it seem like it's not such a big deal. Did you ask her about her tardiness? Come on, self-control. I asked her what her problem is. Sumiki nods in relief, but she still casts a suspicious gaze on me. And what did she say? Again, I shrug. She didn't really say anything. Whatever her problem is, she won't tell me. Takahito lets out a sigh of frustration.
If she won't tell you, then who else will she tell?
You two are much closer together, why not you? To my surprise, Taka suddenly flushes a deep red. It takes him a few seconds to recover from the initial surprise.
We're just friends.
So are we.
Still.
He pauses, obviously thinking of the next word to say.
You're not just her friend, you're also her group leader. She's got a problem related to the project, and she'll surely tell you about it.
I shrug. I tried that, and she was having none of that. I hope so. I hope she's not just hiding it.
Yui, hide something?
He chuckles dryly, as though it's a completely unbelievable thing for Yui to be hiding something.
She managed to hide that. She's good at hiding. She manages to hide that. She's good at hiding. If she manages to hide that she's good at hiding, that makes her very good at it, don't you think? That was awkward. Alright.
I nod at him, mulling it over. Honestly, I'd rather find out that she's hiding the reason she's skipping from me than find out that she's skipping for absolutely no reason at all. The former is a lot easier to swallow than the latter, after all. And we're now all back at the club, still working on our respective parts of the project. Aside from organization, my job right now is to remind them all of deadlines, and ensure that everyone is still right at work, right on track, and other things. Keeping track of other members in a group project has never been an easy job, but it's even harder when all your group members are your friends that don't feel obliged to give you updates unless you ask them directly. You need to be a manager, June. It's the good and bad thing. Friends as your group mates. I suppose they tend to assume that you'll understand whatever excuse they throw in your direction, just because you're friends. But that isn't going to work here for me. We've got really strict deadlines, and I'm here to make sure that those deadlines remain strict, so as not to delay our project. This writing is so fantastic. For the umpteenth time, I stand in front of them, asking them again about their current progress. Any updates so far? I makes a small sound in her throat, making me turn to her. Yes, any problem?
No.
No, it's alright. You can tell me if you're having trouble with anything. I'm not an artist, but I guess I can still try to help you out in some way. Oh, look at that. Look at that portrait. I haven't seen that before. I start walking towards her, but she waves her hands rapidly in front of her face, as if telling me not to come any closer to her. So instead, I just smile awkwardly at her, slowly walking backward to the spot where I had just been standing a few moments ago. Oh, okay, if that's what you want, then. But if you've got any problem whatsoever, don't hesitate to talk to me, alright? I turn to Sumiki. She barely glances up as she continues working on the script. You know better than to ask her. Even as she talks to me, she taps away on her keyboard, obviously being extremely productive. What's the matter? Can you not see? You're obviously asking the wrong person. The wrong person? What do you mean? I suppose you should be asking Yui, not I. I has been really diligent recently, while Yui has only been more and more tardy. At the mention of her name, I immediately turn to look at Yui, who's working alone at her desk right now. Right on timing. She has her headset on her neck, allowing her to just hear what Sumiki had just said. My eyes meet with her wide ones, her face frozen in silent surprise.
What did you say, Sumiki?
Oh, fight! Sumiki still doesn't make an effort to even look at Yui, even though they're basically on opposite sides of the room. This only pisses Yui off more, who stands up in order to get a clearer view of the team's writer. Hey, calm down.
Calm down? How can I calm down on that girl over there?
She stabs a finger in the direction of Sumiki.
Is saying bad things about me behind my back.
Oh dear. Bad things? Sumiki scoffs, still not taking her eyes off her script. I did not know that telling the truth I did not know that telling the truth constitutes bad things now, Yui.
What did you say?
You heard me.
I did, but I didn't understand what you meant.
Sumiki stays silent, much to my surprise. I look over to her and see her poring over her script quite seriously. Yui, meanwhile, is still seething furiously. Uh-oh. She better not ignore Yui at this condition.
Hey, I'm talking to ya!
Sumiki lets her gaze fall down lower, before frowning a little bit. Oh, yeah. I apologize. I was being busy.
That's it! You don't say anything about me if you know what you're talking about, alright?
Angrily, she points towards her own workstation.
I'm only trying to perfect my work, okay? That's why I'm slowing down by just an inch. It's not like I'm already sabotaging this whole project.
For the first time, Sumiki glances at Yui. If Sumiki's not looking at Yui was already pissing the latter off, then it seems that her looking only pisses the smaller girl off even more. Perfect your work? Foolish girl. She shakes her head as she says this, her facial expression showing just how much in disbelief she is. To Yui or to herself, that I'm not sure.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Tension is broken by the sound of Takehiro's hesitant voice, rising softly in the middle of two rampaging beasts. Two rampaging beasts. June, what are you doing? What does? Yui's trying to perfect her work? Sumiki, you should be proud. Someone wants to follow your footsteps. Takehiro openly chuckles at this, while I softly giggles, to which Sumiki gives her a hard, scolding look. Silence! Yui only looks in the other direction, crossing her arms.
Say what y'all want to say. I don't care. I do work hard, and I don't care even if y'all don't believe it.
Where are these y'alls coming from? Suddenly her facial expression changes.
But Jun,
Yes?
I just remembered that I might not be able to stay late at the club for the next few days. I'm gonna be pretty busy.
The tension comes back in full force. None of us making a single sound in fear of setting off the ticking bomb in front of us.
Is that gonna be okay?
Time for me to be a motherfucking manager! Sumiki stands up all of a sudden. This is bad. Really bad. And why, Yui? Yui looks around, avoiding Sumiki's steely gaze.
I told you I'm gonna be really busy.
Busy with what exactly? You can't tell us? Yui's reply comes so softly that I have to lean in closer in order to hear it clearly.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Why not?
I'm so sorry.
Sumiki sighs, her eyes softening just a little bit. Teeny tiny bit, but it's enough to make me think that there's still some hope for the two of them. If you told us, we might be able to help you. To my surprise, as well as wonder, Yui's face suddenly takes on the color of a ripe tomato.
I'm fine. You did say I was just tardy, didn't you?
Uh-oh, never mind what I said. Sumiki's eyes darken. I am done. You talk to her, June. Sighing, I turn towards Yui. She doesn't seem interested in talking anymore. Fine, then. All of you be like this. I hear nothing in response, everybody else busy with their own work. Not that I'm saying it's wrong, of course. Guess a part of me just hoped that I didn't have to face this alone. But I guess I'm all out of luck. Keep up the good work, everyone, then. Alright, Yui. What's your deal? Oh, I guess... Did we talk to Yui or not? I don't even know. I reclined on the couch, thinking back to the events of the day. It's crazy how Yui and Sumiki can just grill each other like that without even thinking. I always thought girls were weird when it comes to fighting one another, and after what I saw earlier, I could tell I was right. Oh, hi. Hi, adopted sister that's totally not related to me, who I can probably date. All of a sudden, Shiro walks in, holding her cell phone up to her ear as she talked into it with a high-pitched, silly girl voice. Oh, I gotta come up with a voice for Shiro? Alright, I thought she was voice acted. Alright, high-pitched, silly girl voice? Alright, I guess we'll do the Colette voice, maybe.
Really? You really think? That's so sweet.
The moment the words come out of her mouth, her eyes suddenly roll to the back of her head to my surprise. What in the world?
Why, yes, that's adorable.
Her face, however, suggests that she's thinking of the most horrible thing in the world rather than something adorable, like what her words are saying.
Oh, you want me to go to your game? I'd love to, but unfortunately I think I'll be busy on that day.
She rolls her eyes once more, and I can't help but roll mine either. Knowing her, she's not at all interested in guy sports unless there's some cute guy that she's interested in seeing. She continues speaking to whoever she's talking to. I find myself getting more and more confused, and more irritated. Her actions, even though they're different from Yui's, are pretty much comparable to one another. Both of them aren't saying what they really want to say, and now that I'm starting to notice it, it's starting to piss me off.
Yes, I see.
Shiro starts walking toward the staircase, presumably about to go up to her room. To my own surprise, I blurt out something that I shouldn't be saying in front of a girl, let alone in front of Shiro. Why are girls such weirdos?
Shira stops walking all of a sudden, turning back to me with an angry scowl on her face. Despite that, though, her voice is still sugary sweet, talking on the phone as though there's nothing wrong. To be honest, the disconnect between her voice and her facial expression is already starting to unnerve me. Her tone simply doesn't show what her face is showing right now, and she wants nothing more than to skin me alive at this very moment. It's disconcerting, to say the least.
Why, yes. I understand exactly what you mean.
Okay, we getting some voice acting now.
It's just that... Yes? Hey, mind if I call you back some other time? Yeah, I have something I have to do. Sorry. Yeah, bye. Hope to see you soon, too.
For a few moments, she just stares at me, one eyebrow raised. Weren't you going upstairs?
Chuunibyou.
Oh, she's pissed. I can't help but jump a little bit in my seat. Shiro rarely uses her adult voice, and even more so does she call me by my full name. I'm afraid I might have hit a nerve. Panicking now, I try to summon up my power, hoping to get out of this mess. She seems to have noticed what I was trying to do, because she immediately jumps into the space next to me on the couch.
Oh, no you don't! I'm sorry, but you can't magic your way out of here!
Oh, fuck. Shiro, come on, I was just kidding.
No!
She pouts at me angrily.
Girls are weirdos? Well, you have no choice but to tell this weirdo everything.
I feel my cheeks heat up in embarrassment. Now this is definitely awkward. Yeah, especially because doesn't Sumiki live here? Wasn't that a thing that, like, she just happens to live with us for no discernible reason? So, like, is she here? What up? She stares at me with the same angry eyes, looking scarier and scarier the more I look back at her. I'm sorry, what? In what universe is this looking scary? Just fucking kitty cat hood. I think if I still want to be alive after this, I better answer her questions.
Well, mind telling me what you were ranting about earlier?
Bitches be crazy? I shake my head at her wording. I wasn't ranting. I was questioning a universal truth. My adopted sister narrows her eyes at me.
I'll ignore that for now. Because now, you have to tell me what the heck you're ranting about that's so much more important than my conversation with a really famous athlete from my batch.
I let out a sarcastic ooh, pretending to be amazed. She immediately sees through my sarcasm and gives me an above-average punch as a punishment.
I'm only talking with him because he really wants to talk with me, okay?
Okay, sure. Why keep talking to him if you don't enjoy the conversation, then? She was a dick. What? Shira looks at me with an aghast expression on her face. I just stare back at her curiously, wondering why her reaction is like that.
You're kidding, right? Because that'd be very rude if I just suddenly cut him off.
I shake my head at her. Yeah, but it's better than making him think that you're having fun when you're really not.
You just don't get it, Junie.
Call me Junie again, watch what happens. You're right, I don't. I don't get why you're faking your emotions like that. I don't get why Yui's hiding something from me. What if it's something important? What if it also affects the rest of the group? I don't get it at all, Shiro. I sigh in frustration and disappointment. To my surprise, Shiro starts patting my back reassuringly.
There, June. It's okay. Let's see. It's going to take a really long time if I have to explain everything to you in detail.
Oh dear, here we go, we're getting to talk. She puts a hand on her lower lip.
So I guess, let me answer your questions briefly for now.
Fine.
For your first question, the short answer is that I lie. Because if I don't, I'm going to hurt his feelings.
But...
Uh-uh.
She holds a finger to my lips.
For your second question, well, honestly, it varies from person to person. But I think...
A distant look comes into her eyes as she stares at an invisible point somewhere in front of her.
I think all of us have things that we'd rather keep secret, you know? And for some people, I think the more important that thing is, the more they'll fight to keep it really private. Perhaps that's why she's not telling you. Perhaps it's so important to her that she'd rather not let you all know. Then face your judgment once you finally find out what it is.
She looks at me again, smiling this time.
Rather simple when you think about it, huh?
I nod in agreement. It's true, though. Shiro does have a point. Even if I don't agree with the exact reasons that she gave me, I do understand that they can be valid for other people. Maybe they're valid for Yui. If you put it that way... She giggles, getting off of the couch.
I gotta do something now, but update me if anything happens, okay?
With the game?
With whatever, I guess.
Aww.
Come on, June. You know you can tell me practically anything.
You're such a great little sister. She laughs again, sort of throwing her head back this time.
Think little sisters are just for annoying their older brothers?
Well, see, I would think that, but I've seen anime. And I know what anime does to little sisters, so let's not go there.
Well, think again.
And just like that, she climbs up the stairs excitedly, even taking 2 steps at a time. I bet she's gonna continue talking with that athlete boy. You jealous, June? Was that what this is about? Alright, guys. I think this is a good enough spot to go ahead and end off today's episode. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, please be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. And make sure that you're subscribed for more of his Chuunibyou Can't Be Cured. Next time, we will continue on and see if we can finally figure out what the hell's going on with Yui. And see what her secret is. I would hope that we're close enough to Yui to maybe get the full story. I don't know. I'm sure it'll come out at some point, whether it will be climactically in some big emotional scene, or if it's something that we just get to kind of find out at some point. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think it's safe to say that we are solidly playing the Yui arc at this point, and I'm very interested to find out what's going on with her. So hopefully we'll get somewhere in the next episode with that. I hope you're excited for that. I know I am. I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.